Hey guys, it's about beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by today. I'm not sure, I may have reviewed this before, I'm not sure. But I seen it on the shelf and it was a bourbon barrel aged version. I said, let's try it again. Or let's try it. This is Abita Brewing Company. They're out of Abita Springs, Louisiana. They do some tasty beers, guys, but they do some fairly beers too. They do some beers to get the transitional beer drinkers over, the macro lager drinkers over to try something with a little more taste. But this is one of their bigger beers. This is a 9.25%er, and it is a porter aged 100% in bourbon barrels. Fairly big beer, big bottle, 22-ounce bomber. I can't remember if I've done it before or not. If I have, this is a re-review of 2015, December 2015. And if I have it, after 1,800 and some almost 1,900 beer reviews, some of them get kind of slip through the cracks sometimes. Have I had that? I'm not sure. Have I had that? So, if I reviewed it before, guys, this is the 2015 edition. Let's get over to, it says no commercial description here. I have none on either site, so we don't know anything else other than what I've just told you, other than what's on the bottle. For centuries, New Orleans famed Bourbon Street has inspired good times and fine libations. Like our Abita Bourbon Street Baltic Porter, this handcrafted artesian brew is aged for months in wooden barrels used to make small batch bourbon whiskey. During barrel aging, the brew absorbs the flavors of the barrels, which intensifies the taste and aroma and the sweet roasted malt and warm, smooth bourbon. And like I told you guys before, many times, I don't drink bourbon anymore. The only time I can get any kind of bourbon influences is from the beers like this that's been aged in the bourbon barrels. I don't drink a lot of bourbon. I don't drink any bourbon anymore, guys. It kind of makes me mean and ugly. And brings out the redneck side of me. So I gave that up many, many years ago. I actually started drinking clear liquor after that, the tequilas and the vodkas and stuff like that. And I basically give that up. Occasionally I'll have something that's got that in it, but normally I'm a beer guy. I usually have beer, and if I want something, if I've got the influence for something with bourbon in it, I'll find me something that's been aged in bourbon barrels to get that bourbon influence. And there's a lot of people that buy these darker beers that aren't bourbon barrel aged, and then do a little splash of bourbon in it just to give it that influence, and that's a pretty good way to do it. You can spice up just about anything with a little bit of bourbon. So let's get on with this one, guys. Big beer, 9.25%. Food pairings for this beer: cuisine's barbecue, cheese, earthy can of burnt fontina. The meat is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glass for the pint, back in tumbler, mug, stein, Sidell. I brought out the double glass for this one today, guys. Final beer of the evening. These big beers are nice sippers. This is something you could have before dinner if you wanted to, if you so chose, or something with a big bowl dish during dinner, or even after dinner as a dessert, aperitif, or whatever you want to call it. The beer can be set up for long periods under the proper conditions. I would say so. I don't think of anything that would deter you from being able to sell this for a few years, 3, 5, maybe even 10 years. 9.25%, that's a big beer. So let's get on with this one. Let's get the cap off of this bomber and get into the glass. Like I said, final beer of the evening. Ooh, nice big hiss on that. Don't think there's any kind of dating on here, but I'll look again when I come back for the final chug. And it's coming out. So I think it's fairly carbonated, fairly willy carbonated, willy carbonated. I'm not going to pour it too aggressive because I got a feeling we're going to get a decent enough head just pouring it slowly. Alright. Almost 2 fingers of head on that pour. Over to the light, it is a deep brown color, guys. And just a slight hint of some light around the very thin part of the glass here on the bottom. Through the big bowl part, I'm not getting any at all. It's pretty dark brown. Doesn't look black. It looks more of a dark brown to me. So, good looking beer though. Let's give it a nose. Not getting a huge bourbon barrel influence on the nose. Just a slight hint, slight twinge of some bourbon. So I don't know how long they left it in the bourbon barrels or if they were first run bourbon barrels that never had beer in them before. I'm getting some sweet malt. Maybe some caramel, some toffee in there. Maybe ever so slight hint of some dark fruit. Kind of disappointed I'm not getting more bourbon than this, especially when they got it in big letters on here. Baltic Porter in Bourbon Street right on the top. 100% aged in bourbon barrels. Well, putting in fresh run bourbon barrels, never had beer in them before, is going to be a big influence as far as how much you're going to get on the aroma and on the taste, as opposed to a barrel that's had beer in it before, because a lot of that will leach out of the barrel into that first run beer, and then the second run, third run, you get less and less and less. Each time it's had beer put in it, you get less of that. Nice sweet smell. Maybe some lactose are in there, or candied sugar. Oh well, let's give it a taste. Cheers. A little more bourbon in the taste, guys. It's definitely not off the chain. I mean, kind of subdued, but it's there. Candied sugar, sweet toffee and caramel, slight hints of some dark fruit. Very well made though, not getting any of that 9.25% alcohol. Very nice. Very pleasant. Very nice sipper to have, like I said, with a big bowl dish or even after dinner as your dessert. Yeah, very nice. And like I said, I'll take a closer look at the bottle, see if there's any kind of dating, but I don't think they are dating anything down there, which is a shame because they're big enough they should be. So, we'll take a closer look when I come back, but we're going to sip on this one for 35-45 minutes or so, and might even fire up a cigar to go with this, and see where this one ends up. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on this about 45 minutes or so. Very tasty beer. It's just a crying shame. Looked at the bottle earlier. There's no vintage on it anywhere. We have no idea what year this was produced, guys. And the label is silk screened on the bottle, so evidently they're using the bottles year after year after year. That's why they choose not to put the vintage on it, or they're not required to. A lot of the states don't require them to put that on there, or the ABV or anything else. It does have the ABV written on it, and I will say that for them. It does have 9.25% alcohol by volume on the label, but it has no vintage at all. So, very tasty though. Final chug. Slight hints of bourbon, vanilla, a little bit of woodiness, a nice sweet caramel toffee taste, slight hints of some dark fruit. Very easy drinking, very well made beer. Abita is a big enough brewery where they could put some kind of date on the bottle. And this is a 22 ounce. I mean, if they're dating the case on a 22 ounce, that's asinine as far as I'm concerned. Not a lot of people I know buy these beers in this size bottle by the case. They just don't. I mean, that would be a costly purchase if you was to buy this beer by the case. So I don't understand why they don't, other than they don't have to. So as far as I'm concerned, it's an A beer in a B bottle, and that's what I'm going to give it, guys. I'm going to give it the 7, which is a B+. It's very nice, very well made beer, very tasty beer. But I would like to see the vintage on it somewhere, guys. It's just how I am. It's my OCD. They could put 2015 on it just as easy as anything. I mean, they're a big enough brewery where they could do that. They're in Louisiana. They're distributing here in Virginia. I bought this locally, and the distribution's that big. They can afford a dating machine. So that's all I'm going to say about that. They choose not to. All right. As far as I'm concerned, like I said, I give it a 7. If I was putting a numeric rating on this beer, guys, it would probably be an 88 or an 89, somewhere in that area. Very nice. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 85, which is a very good range. Nice numbers from them. Wouldn't argue with that number at all. And over to Rate Beer says 89 overall and 67 in the style. So we got upper 90, well, mid 90s from them and upper 90s from them over at Rate Beer. So yeah, 88, 8 or 9 is what I'd put on this one too. Upper B beer as far as I'm concerned. I would probably even step up, if it had a vintage on it, I may even give this one a 90 or a 91, but it does not. So it gets a B from me, a B+, and very tasty. I enjoyed it. I would buy this beer again if it had some kind of vintage on it. And until I see a vintage on it, I would not be purchasing it again. Not that it would deter from that, since it's a 9.2% and it's going to keep for a while. I would like to know what year was put in the freaking bottle. Come on, give me that information, guys. You're big enough to do that. So with that being said, if you've had this one from Abita, their Bourbon Street Baltic Porter, very tasty. We just need to get a little more information on it, guys. If you've had it, let me know what you think. Let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. Maybe we'll get one that's got a date on it. Yeah! Merry Christmas. See y'all tomorrow.